The Democratic politicians are modifying the child tax credit payments so that undocumented immigrants will qualify to receive the payments. The Federal Reserve has an important meeting this week. They're going to discuss when they're going to slow down the money printing, which is causing inflation, and when they're going to raise interest rates. President Biden tried to convince Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema to vote yes to the upcoming $3.5 trillion spending bill. After their face-to-face meeting, Senator Manchin is still saying that he's going to vote no. The Senate parliamentarian ruled that the upcoming $3.5 trillion spending bill cannot give citizenship to undocumented immigrants. If you remember, U.S. armed forces conducted a drone strike in Afghanistan. President Biden said, the strike took out an ISIS-K member and we prevented another bombing. It has now been confirmed that the drone strike did not take out an ISIS-K member, and instead, it's 7 children and 3 civilians unaffiliated with ISIS-K. China, they may be on the verge of a financial crisis. Their biggest property developer ran out of money to pay their $300 billion of debts. And the US southern border situation is a disaster and it's just getting worse. This is your Monday News, and I hope you're having a very nice day. In the upcoming $3.5 trillion spending bill, the Democrats are modifying the rules for the child tax credit payments. They're making it so that children of undocumented immigrants will qualify to receive the payments. Right now, a social security number is needed to receive the payments. The new proposal would remove the social security requirement and you would just need an ITIN. An ITIN is an individual taxpayer identification number, and undocumented immigrants and their children can get an ITIN fast and free. The Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy is estimating that more than 1 million undocumented children will qualify for the child tax credit payments. During this, the Federal Reserve has been printing money at a record pace to support the economy, $120 billion a month to be exact. This has been causing inflation. The Federal Reserve has also lowered interest rates close to 0%. This is why you can get a mortgage with an interest rate for less than 3% and your lender will still make money off you. We're waiting to see when the Federal Reserve is going to reduce the money printing and when they're going to start raising interest rates. We're hoping to get more information after their 2-day policy meeting that starts on Tuesday. The Federal Reserve previously said they're going to reduce the money printing when there's substantial further progress in the labor markets. That means that the Federal Reserve, they want to see more improvement in the unemployment figures before slowing down the money printing or raising interest rates. But we don't know when that's going to happen because the jobs report for the month of August was lousy. Economists are predicting that the Federal Reserve will slow down the money printing in 2021 and interest rates, they're going to increase in late 2022 or early 2023. In political news, regarding the $3.5 trillion spending bill, all 50 Democrats in the Senate, they need to vote yes to the bill in order for the bill to have enough votes to pass. Democratic Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema said they're going to vote no to the bill because it's too expensive. President Biden, he went to go speak with Manchin and Sinema to persuade them to vote yes. Sinema's spokesperson said that the meeting was productive, so it was left pretty vague. Senator Joe Manchin said that he's still a no. By saying no to the president after a face-to-face meeting, it shows that Manchin, he's actually serious about voting no. Manchin says that he wants the bill to be $1.5 trillion, not $3.5. If Manchin truly votes no to the bill, then there's not going to be the extension of the child tax credit payments, more money for parents for childcare expenses, paid family and sick leave, universal preschool, free community college tuition, the upgraded earned income tax credits, expansion of Medicare, expansion of Obamacare, and more. Senator Bernie Sanders, who's writing up the bill in the Senate, says that he's not going to lower the cost of the bill. Here's the exact quote from Sanders, and he said, "I have already made, and my colleagues have already made, a major compromise going from $6 trillion down to $3.5 trillion. I am telling you, the $3.5 trillion is much too low. A compromise has already been made. An agreement has been made." On Sunday, Sanders predicted that all the Democrats are going to come together and pass the bill for $3.5 trillion. In the upcoming $3.5 trillion bill, the Democrats, they wanted to give citizenship to 8 million undocumented immigrants. In order to do so, the politicians, they need to make sure that it qualifies to be in the bill. The politicians, they get authorization from the Senate parliamentarian, Elizabeth McDonough. The Senate parliamentarian ruled that this is not a qualifying item, so it cannot be included in the bill. The leader of the Democrats in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, said He is deeply disappointed by the ruling. The leader of the Republicans in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, said, "It was inappropriate and I'm glad it failed." In international news, a few weeks ago, shortly after the suicide bombing in Afghanistan, 13 US service members, American forces launched a drone strike. If you remember, the drone strike, it blew up its target that was supposedly ISIS-K. President Biden said, "We can effectively conduct military operations without soldiers on the ground and we stopped another bombing." However, it has been revealed that drone strike did not prevent another bombing. General Frank McKenzie announced the victims were not associated with ISIS-K, and instead, the victims of the drone strike were 7 children and 3 civilians. General McKenzie told reporters, and this is his exact quote, "This strike was taken in belief that it would prevent another imminent threat to our forces and the evacuees at the airport, but it was a mistake and I offer my sincere apology." 13 years ago, America went through a financial and real estate crisis. China is going through a situation that might end up being similar. Chinese property giant Evergrande is on the brink of collapse. They're saying that they can't pay their debts, equivalent to about $300 billion US. Everyday people, they put down deposits with Evergrande to build their homes, and these homes, they're not going to go finished. Suppliers are not going to be paid what they're owed, and hundreds of thousands of people that work for Evergrande, they're going to be laid off. We still don't know if this is going to trigger a financial crisis like what we saw in the US. We don't know if this problem is going to have a chain reaction and affect the global economy. We don't know if the Chinese government is going to bail out Evergrande or let them fail. So we'll see how things unfold in the next few days. In current events, FDA advisors are now telling the Biden administration that not everyone should get a booster shot. They're saying that booster shots should only be given to people 65 years old and older, or people at high risk of. The FDA advisors support giving booster shots to healthcare and frontline workers, including teachers. This is currently what's being said, but the FDA is expected to give a final decision any day now. The crisis at the southern border is just getting worse. Over the weekend, 15,000 immigrants illegally crossed over into the US and they just set up camp there. They're setting up tents and tarps, they're cooking food, washing clothes. It's like a village. Most of these people, they're Haitians, but there's a mix of Venezuelans, Central Americans, Mexicans, and more. These immigrants are on US soil and they're waiting to be picked up by US Border Patrol. They're trying to claim asylum. They're making it through, but a lot of them are being deported. US Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz said they're going to get the situation under control. Ortiz said as of Sunday 3:30 a.m., they're putting Haitians on flights back to Haiti if they don't qualify for asylum. And I wanted to end with this interesting debate. Americans are not sure if they should tip on takeout orders or tip the delivery person, and if so, how much? Etiquette experts are saying you should tip on takeout orders and delivery drivers if you can afford to do so, and 15 to 20% would be appropriate. They're saying that restaurants don't pay their employees enough, so these tips really help. But the opposition says, no table service, no tip. A tip is only deserved if someone goes above and beyond, otherwise, this is what they're paid to do. They're saying it's not their fault that restaurants don't pay their employees enough, and they're tired of being guilt-tripped into giving tips. So if you're unsure about tipping or not, you're not the only one that feels that way. That's the news for today. If you enjoyed today's report, please be sure to subscribe. I thank you for your support, and I wish you a very nice day.